me just first get your reaction to the share price that we're seeing for Foster's. Not seeing much action. Does that mean the merger arbitrageurs are not getting in on this one?
Good morning. Look, it's just the games in play, as they say at the moment. SABMiller, this is classic game theory at the corporate level. SABMiller, very good executors historically when it comes to M&A activity. We know the M&A activity is a very conducive environment globally. We know corporate balance sheets are strong, but they're very good executors. And they put the pressure pretty much onto Foster's here. And obviously they're really working on that volatility in the background of the past 10 days or so. Foster's are doing the right thing, of course, and rejected it this morning. And at $4.90, it's just simply too low. Unfortunately, the backdrop is very clear. We know that beer sales are soft. It will be reported on Tuesday for the recent quarter. We know that they're losing some market share in Australia in the beer sales. So we know it's a tough environment. And unfortunately, there's no competitive environment, as we say, for the M&A activity. So SABMiller have done the right thing to put pressure onto Foster's, and Foster's have done the right thing to reject it. So going forward from here, we know it will be earnings accretive, and SABMiller can meet its requirements to purchase between $5.50 and $6, depending on interpretation. But they can pay between that and still meet their requirements. And this will play out, obviously, in the weeks ahead. But again, classic game theory, corporate level, M&A activity in play.
Yeah, cat and mouse game, right, George? Okay, so are you expecting SABMiller to come up with a higher bid than for Foster's at some point?
One would suspect they're in a good commanding position to maintain that pressure. Again, and those factors just trying to point out, they're really going into that, the results on Tuesday. Again, Foster's, I still think it's a quality company, but they're losing market share. If I can just throw in an anecdotal, I mean, as I'm buying rounds in a pub in Sydney last night, no one's really buying any Foster's. It's all Lion Nathan. So most unfortunate. So I'm trying to force people into a bit more Foster's in my round. But that's my anecdotal, but just throw
George,
in there.
No one drinks Foster's in Australia, is that right? No one drinks Foster's in Australia. It's more of an international brand that people associate with Australia.
Exactly, it's more the Foster's group of brands that they can offer obviously in the hotels in Australia. But everyone's choosing Lion Nathan drinks versus Foster's, and every time I'm buying around, so it's most unfortunate. So you can, as a bit of tongue in cheek, of course, but the point being is that we know, and it's very clear that it's been a tough beer sales environment. But it is a quality asset, and this is a quality market. And 11.9 times is a bit cheap in my mind for Foster's.
Yeah.
Using the Lion Nathan, the Kieran Lion Nathan, 14.5 times, that's irrelevant at the moment. It happened so long ago. But somewhere in between seems appropriate. But again, as you say, the cat and mouse, the pressure's on, and I think Foster's board have done the right thing by rejecting it, and we'll see how it plays out.
Well, listen, George, I mean, if it's so cheap, if it's such a quality asset, why aren't we seeing other bidders come in to pay for Foster's?
Exactly, and that's a million-dollar question, of course. Why aren't there other ones? But and that's where SABMiller have got that commanding position, and that's where SABMiller have been very opportunistic and putting maximum pressure onto the Foster's board, because they know the underlying fund managers who own this. I mean, where would they be happy? Would they be happy at 525, 550, 575? But in my mind, I think it's earnings accretive for SABMiller. They're very good executors in M&A activity. They can walk away, but it meets their requirements of earnings accretive, no matter how you measure it, between $5.50 and $6, depending on your definition. And I think that both parties can agree.
Okay, George, hey, would you say that there's value right now buying into Foster shares at $4.97 if you're expecting a higher bid at some point, hopefully?
Yeah, and there is some value there. Remember, in the extraordinary volatility we've seen in the past 10 days, Foster's the price did maintain some elevation versus the broader market. It did trade under 460 briefly, but the point is it has that premium in the market. People understand that, and even when we saw the extraordinary volatility, Foster's share price did hold up. There is a bit of a premium there, but we'll see how it plays out in the next 2 weeks.